right, today we are going to be talking about small spaces, very specifically kitchens and bathrooms, and I just happen to have a very special guest with me today, Carolyn Elleman. She's been with us now for how many years?
Almost 5 years.
Almost 5 years, and she does a lot of work out of our DC office, and as a result is kind of become a specialist in small spaces. So I was hoping, Carolyn, you might share some tips on what somebody out there that's got, maybe it's a condo unit, maybe it's a row house, but they don't have acres of space. And just to give them maybe some tips for how they could go about designing their kitchen or bathroom. Why don't we start with bathrooms? Like what advice would you share?
So with bathrooms, there are multiple ways you can make the room feel bigger. I know in some of the smaller condos, you're stuck with the 3-piece bathroom, the tub or shower, toilet, and vanity. But there are some ways to make it feel larger, possibly like using a countertop that goes over the toilet. If you can extend the countertop space, that gives you a little extra space for, your perfume bottles, or toothbrush.
All you have is a vanity that's this big.
Yeah. Usually people rely on horizontal surfaces, but one of the ways you can always make it more spacious is use the vertical surfaces as well, such as floating shelves, medicine cabinets. Not every time in every situation can we put the medicine inside of the wall, but it still gives you extra storage space, which it seems like we run out of quite
so
often.
In a space like that where you don't have a lot of countertop space, you're saying think about going up and using that vertical space to squeeze in a little more storage. What about the vanity itself? How can you make the space look that bigger maybe?
So for vanities, we've been using a lot more free-floating vanities or pedestal sinks. Anytime that you have more space on the floor or you can see the space or the corners of the room, it makes the space feel a lot bigger.
Right.
Using larger format tile also helps with that.
That's a nice tip.
We're seeing a lot more 24 by 24s and 12 by 24s on the floor and on the wall, which helps a lot with making that small room feel just a little bit bigger.
Instead of little tiny tiles, a lot less grout lines, all that sort of stuff. So a little easier to maybe care for as well.
But one of the biggest tips of all is if you can work it out is to use a pocket door.
Great idea.
If you don't have to fight with a door coming in and out of a bathroom, using a pocket door helps a ton.
So instead of having something that swings and takes up a lot of that floor space, you just slide it into the wall. Great idea. What about a color palette in a small space like that? Do you have to be careful about that?
Yes. Well, for colors, we're seeing a lot more brighter colors, especially in smaller spaces, because you want it to not feel claustrophobic. You want it to feel more open and charismatic. So with that being said, we've been seeing a lot more lighter blues, whites.
Not all gray anymore.
Not all gray anymore. Every once in a while, you'll get somebody who wants to paint the ceiling dark, which actually can make the room feel a little bit taller.
Is that right? I would think of that making it feel shorter. It actually helps with
helps with the height of the ceiling.
So then in just good lighting and things like that, what about mirrors?
So with mirrors, you could use a medicine cabinet, and again, it's not so much can go in the wall, but you can use plate glass mirrors. So with plate glass mirrors, you can have it to go from wall to wall to the top of the countertop all the way up to the ceiling. With that being said, it makes the room feel a lot bigger because of the reflection. A lot of the times we've even been installing the light fixtures within the mirror so you have more reflection, which helps you see when you put your face on.
So not just stopping and putting the light up above, maybe running it past and actually putting the light on the mirror.
In the mirror.
That's cool. Yeah, nice. What about in a kitchen? So now we've talked a little bit about what you can do in a bathroom. How about in a kitchen space? What are you seeing?
So with kitchens, we're seeing a lot more smaller appliances. With smaller appliances such as an 18-inch dishwasher, a dishwasher drawer, 24-inch fridge, or a 24-inch range, it gives you a little bit more countertop space. So as compared to a standard 36-inch fridge.
Takes up a lot of space.
I mean, you're saving quite a bit of space
Sure.
there, and that.
Now, it used to be you'd have to search those out through like some obscure European manufacturer. Is there more selection nowadays?
Most definitely. So you used to see it with Liebherr and Bertazzoni and Smeg. Now we're seeing it within our GE Whirlpool
Is that right?
series.
You can get just a normal appliance manufacturer is starting to respond by making smaller pieces.
It's slow in transition,
Okay.
especially due to cost, because the cost of a 36-inch is about the same as a 24-inch.
Right? So the smaller costs as much or more?
It's about the same.
Economy of scale, right?
But
they make a lot more.
it makes a lot more sense in smaller spaces just due to the fact that you get more countertop space.
Right.
Especially if you have, you have to put the microwave on the counter, or if you have a lot of jars or like to see everything on the counter.
And often with small spaces, there are probably fewer people using it. So having a 24-inch range or refrigerator, probably not that big a deal, because you're not going to have a family of 6 or whatever using that space.
Usually with these spaces, you're seeing it in a studio apartment, a 1-bedroom, or maybe a 2-bedroom apartment.
Yeah.
The trend really started over in California, because for a 950 square foot apartment is all you have. So having every little inch of space is kind of nice.
Yeah. What about same sort of color palettes in a kitchen? What are you seeing? Just same thing you see in any kitchen? Do small spaces vary at all?
Lots of whites again, lots of grays, lots of lighter colors again, and same with the backsplashes. It seems like we're going bigger, possibly using your same material that you're using on your countertop, run up as your backsplash. So kind of like a trend, but we're seeing a lot more of it. It kind of cuts away from the clutter.
And then I would imagine you're also thinking about some of the accessories maybe within cabinetry, just to maximize that storage space. Any favorites you have?
Well, for the vertically challenged people, we've been seeing a lot more toe kick like step ladders. So you can pull the toe kick out, and it's actually a step ladder for, again, those who are vertically challenged.
So then you don't have to store it in a closet or something somewhere else to take up some space. It's in that
it's in the toe kick
bottom
area.
of the cabinet.
Same with pets. We've been seeing a lot more pets in our homes. So having a little area where we can pull out their food and water container, it's kind of nice.
That's kind of cool. Right, clever. Any other last minute sort of tips on a kitchen?
Movable islands.
Good idea.
Movable islands are kind of nice just for the fact that while you're entertaining, it's there for your preparation and your display, but then you can kind of slide it away and use the space as you usually do.
Cool. Well, thanks very much for sharing some of your knowledge. Appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you again soon. Thanks.